So Bloomberg talks to Piers Morgan about gun control.
Yes.
Did you watch this thing?
Nah, I saw the highlights. I saw the clips. The mayor, I guess he thinks he's doing the right thing, whatever, but...
I don't mind that he's talking about it.
He's a Budinsky.
It's way better than talking about dumb, sugary drinks.
Sugary drinks.
At least he's fucking bringing it up. It's a tough topic for these politicians. They're all scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear Romney or Obama talk about gun control.
Especially around re-election time.
You're not going to hear a peep out of those guys about gun control or how they feel until after the election.
But Mayor Bloomberg is a little out of touch also,
She is. Well, let's go through the audio and see where the problems are.
What is your personal interpretation?
Well,
what do you think the Founding Fathers intended?
I wasn't there. But we have a mechanism under our Constitution that the Founding Fathers put in to answer exactly that question. It's called the Supreme Court, the judicial system up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has ruled that you have a right to bear arms, but reasonable restrictions can be applied in terms of the kind of arms, the number of arms, who can buy them, and that sort of thing. And that's what really matters. It doesn't matter what you think or I think. It matters what the Supreme Court thinks and what the legislature does. And you come back to the history of the country. We started out with our muskets, and today here we are where some people think everybody should be armed. There was a congressman that I heard quoted, I didn't hear him directly, but he was quoted as saying, if we had armed everybody in that theater, then somebody would have pulled a gun and shot the young kid who killed 12 people and injured 50-odd. I don't know that you would want to or have your kids in that theater. When everybody starts shooting, who knows who is the one that's going to get shot? Pretty soon it's a circular firing squad.
Here's what's annoying about him. Like, he wouldn't answer what he thought the Founding Fathers meant. We understand. This is why they're all so hateable. We understand what the judicial process is, but what do you think they meant by that?
Yeah.
Why don't you just answer the question?
Right. What do you think?
What do you think? He's asking you what you think.
We have the Supreme Court to tell us.
None of these guys will answer the questions.
That's just awful.
Because it'll alienate their potential voters in a lot of cases.
Well, Bloomberg has armed security.
Right.
So for him, it doesn't. Why don't you walk around without armed security then?
Yeah, go ahead. Give that a whirl.
Oh, that's right. You're a billionaire. Even believe me, even if it wasn't for fucking him being mayor. Oh, that's right. For you, it's different, right? For you.
Yep.
Bloomberg talks about the current gun laws.
I mean, for example, if I wanted to buy an assault weapon and a load of ammunition on the internet, for example, and I lived in New York, even with the laws that you have, and they're more stringent than many places in America, have you got anywhere stopping me?
You can't stop everything, but you can stop most of it. The federal government passed laws restricting the ability to buy certain kinds of weapons, assault weapons. Law expired or wasn't renewed. That you can't sell, that people with minors can't buy, and drug addicts and psychiatric problems and criminals can't buy it. The trouble is, then the federal government, in the usual wink-wink of passing a law to satisfy one group but telling the other group, don't worry about it, we'll make sure it doesn't get enforced, they didn't fund any of the enforcement, and there's no database that you have to check against, or at least not a complete database. What we've got to do is say, look, we just cannot continue this kind of carnage.
No. So what? Enforce the laws, then. Enforce the fucking laws that are in place. I'm all for that. Believe me, I don't like what illegal gun owners do, either.
Can we can we make the laws even tougher, way tougher?
How do you do that? And when you're not enforcing the ones that are there now, why make new ones? It's ridiculous. Just enforce. There are plenty of laws in place to prevent people.
We don't
from
really
getting
enforce
their hands
the
on
laws.
shit. No, they're really not enforced that well.
In what way?
In New York, they are. I mean, he's talking about buying shit off the internet. It's very difficult to legally buy stuff off the internet like that.
This guy was stockpiling for a while.
People think you can...
Some people say there should have been a red flag that was raised because of all the buying he was doing online.
Yeah. Red flag raised to who?
I don't know.
By the way,
question.
And then when the red flag is raised, who then has to look and assess if that's a problem? I was asked last night, do you think 6,000 rounds of ammunition is excessive to buy online? And I said, well, who's buying it? Is it a guy that runs a range that might want to have ammunition there for people that come in, a private range? Is it a guy that's buying ammo for all his buddies, so when they go out on a weekend, they all have a fuckload of ammo to shoot or hunt with or whatever?
Wouldn't that be easy to check if it's a range guy?
Again, who's checking?
I don't know. I'm just asking
another
questions.
government agency, and then
hold on? Who would check something like that? You think?
I have no idea. That's just it.
Because you know
who's
more
checking?
about this than
couldn't local law enforcement?
They always say, but then do you want local law enforcement coming to you and saying like, why are you buying ammunition? And then you got to come up with a good reason. And then what if they say, I don't like your reason? They can make it so you can't get it. I'm just saying, this is another government agency that will be up your ass and know that you are a person that has guns, know which guns you have, know where you keep. This is something that, I don't care what the court says, the Founding Fathers never wanted the government in charge of your weaponry.
I'll say this, they didn't, and you're right, but they also didn't have this problem when they were talking. First of all, everyone back then had guns, so they did not have a problem with gatherings of people just shot up by lunatics at schools. Like it's a phenomenon they didn't have to deal with. And I don't want anybody just questioning everyone who buys ammunition, but I do think that as the public, we have the right to know if someone's buying 600 rounds. You're right. There's
6,000.
Oh, 6,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's plenty of legitimate people who will be buying that. Like you said, a range owner. There are, I'm sure, ways to weed out people who are legit automatically and immediately. I don't want
who's going to determine if you're the one that can buy 6,000 rounds? And then if it's not 6,000 rounds, how many rounds is it?
Right.
Is it 4,000? Is it 500? And what determines that you are fit to buy that many rounds?
Did they buy it from all kinds of different... Was he buying from different places?
I don't know.
I'm imagining he was.
What's excessive for an average gun owner? Ammunition. I don't even know that.
I don't know. I went through boxes of fucking ammo yesterday.
Yeah, if you go to the range.
I just went to the range, and for an hour and a half, I was just blasting.
How many did you shoot off, you think? Or rounds?
I took fucking 50.
If you had to guess.
Let me think. I had boxes of 50, and I went through 100. I probably blew off like 300 rounds around there, and that's one day at the range. An hour and a half. At the range.
300 rounds.
About 300 rounds. Yeah, about 300 rounds.
So when
6,000 just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But when you're just going pop, 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 pop at a range or something,
right?
Or you go through it very quickly.
And you got the right answers. Yeah. How do we do that? And who's responsible for that?
Saying
and is that something we want as a society? I don't know. It just seems like. I don't know. It seems like there should have been some kind of red flag if all of a sudden this guy out of nowhere is buying all sorts of shit.
That's just it. With this guy's case, this guy was such an anomaly in this situation.
Which doesn't help anybody because like we said yesterday, you know, the guy only had a speeding ticket. That's it.
Very hard to determine that this guy wasn't fit.
And average grades in med school, I guess. That's all we really know about his background.
Lots of red flags pop up in hindsight. It's easy to say that.
Good point.
But this guy could have just been anybody. If you would have kept him from buying a gun, you really are cutting out everybody because the guy fit all of the rules and regulations to buying a gun.
That hurts the NRA's case.
It does. It's
a lot.
I hate the fact that he did this, but people also need to know that these things do happen. People aren't fucking very predictable. They're not robots, machines. It's very hard to tell if someone's going to lose their fucking mind.
People are just, people already know the illegal guns aren't going to get off. It's hard because it's an avoidable thing. I mean, it is an avoidable fucking thing, but. I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm saying. I guess I hear both sides of it. And
It's very hard to come up with an answer.
It's extremely complicated.
Very complicated.
It's not that easy to solve, obviously.
A lot of people say things, but they don't take it the next step and say, all right, how is that going to be enacted? How would this be enforced? What government agency would then take care of checking on this and checking on that? And then if they do check, what's their criteria for you being able to do something? Yet, like, no one wants to go to that point. They're just like, well, we ought to, there was a red flag. They ought to have said, red flag, okay, the gun shop owner is supposed to report somebody for being, a little weird? I don't know what people are looking for.
I just think if you're a gun shop, you have a huge responsibility. And I just wonder, if there's more those guys should be doing. I don't know.
There are plenty of gun shop owners that have seen people that are weird and just don't sell to them. It's happened.
Right.
But there are ones that'll sell to anybody.
Shit, right?
I know.
What drives me nuts is when this shit goes down, they obsess about the assault rifles. When, the real problem in this country is the amount of people dying from handguns.
Yeah.
Handguns is way more dangerous than assault rifles.
Yeah, handguns are the.
But
they
they obsess like, oh, we got to get rid of these assault rifles, and then everything will be okay. Really?
Yeah, 4%.
People are dying every day from handgun violence.
But and also, I got
a lot more people
illegal handguns.
Yeah, fair enough.
Illegal handgun violence, and that is key. I mean, people are under the impression that you could just walk into a store and buy a machine gun. So many people are under the impression that no matter what state you're in, you could just walk into a store, buy a full automatic machine gun, and shoot up a fucking school or a theater or what have you.
So you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would say to you, well, this guy got one. I mean, not a machine gun, an assault rifle. Right.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Right.
He
was able to get one legally.
He was able to get a semi-automatic rifle legally. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, because he fit the bill. As far as handguns go, I don't know what other states, I've never lived in other states and had pistols. But in New York, I literally have to go to the police station, get a piece of paper, go to the gun store, buy the gun. They fill out a thing on that piece of paper, take the gun and the piece of paper back to the police station, where they then check the gun, write down the serial number, take another piece of that little paper off, and put it in their file, and then I could take it home with me.
Yeah, you're here to say that it's not as easy as people would assume.
It's not always as easy. Online purchases. If I want to buy something online, I have to go online, pick out what gun I want, have them ship it to a gun store. Let's say, the Coliseum gun traders I use in Uniondale. They ship it to them.
Oh.
Yes, they have to ship it to the gun store, not to my house. Okay. And then I have to go through the same rigmarole. I got to go to the precinct. I got to get the piece of paper. I go to the gun store. He charges a little fee for the transfer, but it's exactly like buying a gun from him, only I paid the online thing.
I assumed, like most, that you probably got a FedEx box.
Yeah. No, you get a FedEx box. Hey, it's another gun.
Look at this.
No, it has to go through
What about this clown?
And
did he have to do that, you think? Or were there laws different in Colorado?
I don't know what Colorado's laws are for purchasing pistols.
Online shit.
I think that's fair, though.
And I have, first of all, I had to have my license in order to even buy a gun like that online and go through my gun shop to do it. With that license, I go through a rigorous background check. Every purchase I make, every time I go in to buy a pistol or a rifle, I get an FBI check is done on me. A new one. Brand new one. Every gun I buy.
I think that's fair. And like what Anthony has would be considered excessive if you were looking at like people red flags.
Yeah.
If Anthony snapped tomorrow, no one would be shocked, but I mean, people would say, wow, why didn't that raise red flags?
Right.
But Anthony's not going to snap, so he's just a responsible gun owner with a bunch of guns. But I think that's fair, though. Even if it's annoying, you have to go through that.
I do understand.
I'm okay with that.
I am for some of these types of restrictions. I just don't like the fact that there are so many restrictions on the ability to even get the gun. Like, once you get over that hurdle, then I don't really have many problems with the going to the precinct, getting the form, getting the gun, going back to the precinct. It's a pain in the ass, but look, it's a gun. I do understand this. But New York State, and especially New York City, will deny you the ability to even go through those hoops, even if you're completely fine, with no record or anything. They could determine, because you didn't fill out your paperwork properly, or there's so many things that can happen in New York State. The city, forget about it. They could just tell you no for no fucking reason. You have to have a reason to have a pistol in New York City. And then go through all those things anyway.
Yeah.
It's very, like, I don't mind the restrictions to purchase the gun. I do mind the restrictions on even being allowed to purchase a gun.
Can you one for just a fucking... I would love to get like a 6-shooter, not like a fucking automatic.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah.
I got a guy.
That's why I
got mine illegally. It was a lot easier.
You can't get anything, a 6-shooter, fucking automatic.
Well, you want to know how easy it is to get a gun in Texas?
Yeah.
Also, this guy purchased 2,000 rounds of ammo with no issues. Another guy says you buy ammo in bulk because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper that way, yeah.
So really they make it where, enticing to get a lot of ammo.
They entice me with their ammo prices.
Don in Texas, a state that knows how to kill fucking convicts. I like that. I like that about you guys. What's up?
All right, this is what you do. You go, and they've got them pretty much every weekend anywhere in Texas, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. You go to a gun show, you have a wad of cash, and I'm sure, Ant, that wouldn't be a problem for you.
Tell me about it.
And basically, you've got guys that they'll have their whatever rifle, anywhere from a shotgun down to a pistol, and they'll just walk around with a sign, hey, $300 cash. You pay the guy $300 cash, you walk out with the firearm. No questions, no paperwork, no nothing. Now, there's the other way to do it where, what they call with papers, is you walk up to one of the booths, you sit down, takes maybe 5 minutes, fill out all the federal paperwork. As soon as you're approved, you sit there and you pay whatever it is. Hell, I got a 9mm, it's one of them off-brand bullshit ones. A 9mm for $275. I gave the guy the money within, say, 10 minutes. I walked out of there with a pistol and about 500 rounds.
All right, I got a question. I've been to Dallas, is what I know about Texas, a few times. I was amazed at how many guns I saw. I couldn't believe it. What kind of handgun violence do you guys have in, let's say, Dallas compared to other cities in America? Or do you know this, Ant?
I know that. Oh, yes, sir?
No. Go ahead, Ant. You're the expert.
No, I'm not an expert on Texas and their fucking laws. But from what I know and what I have read, I've always heard that the more lenient the gun laws, the less gun violence there is. That seems to be what happens across the country.
Right.
Because I don't hear about a lot of handgun violence in Texas like we hear about in Chicago, obviously. Chicago seems to be the big one.
A lot of crimes are thwarted in Texas because of...
But, man, we went to a club
or
a radio station event, and the girls were all talking about how they left their handguns in the glove compartment to come into the bar. It was just it was amazing how many guns were down there.
Yeah. And this is also why people in big cities and on the coastal liberal areas of New York or L.A. and places that do have very strict gun control, they are under this impression that the whole country is for gun control and for the restrictions that are in place in a lot of these big cities, when the fact of the matter is, when you look at the Midwest and the vast part of the United States in between the coasts, a lot of people do own guns. There aren't many restrictions on them, and they want to keep it that way.
Right. Okay, here's more Bloomberg.
Someday there will be a shooting which you would think would trigger in the American psyche this I'm not going to take it anymore attitude. Maybe if you...
I thought it would be this.
Wait a second. Maybe if you shot a president, but Ronald Reagan, when he got shot, didn't trigger it. Maybe if you shot a congresswoman, no. Maybe if you shot a bunch of students on campus, no. Maybe if you shot a bunch of people in a movie theater. I don't know what it is. We obviously haven't gotten there yet. But this cannot continue. And these people that want to have more guns really are not they don't understand what they're asking about. You are 22 times as likely to shoot a family member than somebody trying to break into your house if you have a gun.
You have, I just hate these guys talking. You have armed security. So for you, it's easy to sit there.
Yep.
I fucking hate these guys that just don't acknowledge that they are protected, so they're making this statement from a much different place than the way anybody else thinks about it.
Mike Bloomberg does not need to carry a weapon because he has people around him constantly that carry weapons that aren't even available to the general public.
Yeah, he should start by saying, follow my lead. I now have no armed security.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
go.
All of my guys have maces.
Right.
and,
I'm
with
depending
gloves.
on the exact protection that you will receive when you don't have a gun. That's what I'm going to do. How about that, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mrs. Mayor.
Right.
Mr. Mayor.
People want to talk about this issue. I want to know if they're for or against so we can balance it out. Just get some different voices on the radio there, Sam. How do I know?
Yeah, let's get it from Connor.
How do I know?
Oh,
Connor didn't mention it on the screen.
Connor.
No, he didn't.
Oh, jeez.
Connor.
I told him to
Maybe
go
it's
back.
a 2-trip screening.
It
where
is.
he's got to rescreen him again.
Eric just said he's going to send him back.
No.
Yeah.
I told him to go back. I'm like, get their angles. Just saying I want to talk
Just
about
so we
gun
could get
control
some
isn't
different
enough.
voices on. I liked when we do that.
Is that what the screen said? Just says I just want to talk about guns.
Yeah, which makes it tough because especially if it's points we've made a lot.
It's like, why bother screening the calls?
In the meantime, here's more Bloomberg.
Where you have effective enforcement against people carrying illegal weapons on the streets, guns in particular, you will see gun crime come down.
Yes.
No! That is just an undeniable
You motherfucker.
He's a liar.
How about Detroit and Chicago? 2 prime examples. Turn on that Chicago fucking scanner. When you get the scanner app any night and turn on the Chicago police scanner, you will hear nothing but gunfire and cops chasing around, the sounds of bullets flying, all illegal, all fucking people breaking the law. And they have complete restriction on firearms.
How
in those cities.
about this? Let's find, if we can, the top 5 most violent gun cities in this country
Yeah.
for illegal gun violence, and the best 5
Right.
with the least amount.
Very good.
And let's find what the gun laws are in each. Maybe they're comparable. And let's see if it means anything racially.
Yep.
Or if it means anything, if it's simply the gun laws. Or if
Yes.
it's simply, that the citizens can protect themselves. I know population will have something to do with that, too. But that's why I'm saying cities.
Well, he's fucking lying there.
Well, let's
That's
go
a
back to that
fucking
point.
lie. Gun control does not fucking stop crime. It never has.
It's not that easy,
It's
Piers.
statistically proven that it does not deter the criminal element. Stop it.
It's way more complicated than that.
Yes.
You're on CNN, you dope.
against people carrying illegal weapons on the streets, guns
Illegal
in particular. You will see gun crime come.
Hold it. Illegal. He says illegal guns. Now, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? People buying guns legally, owning guns legally, as per their constitutional right. What is Piers talking about? Oh, when there's a lot of illegal guns that are taken off the streets, crime goes down. All right, I'll even buy that. How do you get the illegal guns off the street? Oh, don't try the stop and frisk.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to
Right.
frisk anybody.
What? And this is what drives me crazy, because they say
something.
good police work. But everything
But they don't
you do
allow
that's
the
good
police to do
they
good police
don't
work.
Allow
That's why
them.
this
Yes.
country's insane.
Yeah, they don't allow it.
Well,
They don't
after
even
that-
allow the police guys
They
to
want-
do their good police work anymore.
Polite police work
Yes.
doesn't work.
And hopefully they'll luck out and find something with their politeness.
Polite police work that doesn't offend or upset anybody.
It's just so dumb.
I believe in the Bronx now. The Bronx, whatever the head muckety-muck up there is, whatever they call him.
I heard that on the way in, too.
He's starting to say maybe we have to rethink the restrictions on stop and frisk after that kid got shot in the
4-year-old.
playground. So he's starting to go like, maybe we want the cops fucking patting down some of these thugs.
Good for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's against that? Like in Chicago, where you know it's a gang and drug
Right.
area. I'm not saying you should stand outside the college and frisk people, but if you see
Yeah.
a bunch of guys, you know what thugs look like.
Yep.
And if you're wrong once in a while, you're wrong.
Oh, well.
You know what rednecks look like. You know what mob guys look
Yeah.
like. You're not always right, but you know.
And by the way, when they talk about
Fuck.
some crazy white guy like this and red flags and they should have seen it, what they're talking about in essence is profiling.
Absolutely.
They're talking about, all right, this guy fits this profile of someone that might unload in a movie theater.
Right.
We should see this. We should use this information to maybe prevent it in the future. Why can't you do the same thing for gang members or people that that have illegal guns and they're shooting other people. Why can't you profile and say, that guy fits the bill? He's throwing up a red flag. Let me check that out and see if I'm right about this.
Because the liberals would argue that the white guy being profiled is being
Yes.
profiled behaviorally, whereas the black guy is being profiled purely on appearance.
Oh, okay.
Down.
Yes.
That is just an undeniable, inarguable fact.
Yeah, get guns out of there when they can't use the guns.
If the political leaders in this country continue to say nothing about this, gun sales increase at the rate they've been increasing, and we see more and more of these incidents, people will say, Mayor Bloomberg, it's time you ran for the highest office. Time you took charge.
Nobody will say that.
I've got a job, thank you. I've got another 528 days, I think it is, left in my job.
shouldn't
I
have one.
enjoy it every day. I'm not
So you'll have a vacancy.
I'm not going to be president of the United States. I'm not going to run for the presidency. But I am an American, and I care very much about our country.
And you
I
care
have
about everything
children,
except the
and I
fucking
care
rules in place to prevent fucking three
for-
terms.
Yeah.
It's funny how he's really
you
big
break
on
your own-
regulations and rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, but when it comes to getting out after 2 terms, he
Right.
doesn't seem to give a fuck about that.
Then he has no problem breaking the
He
the
did
rules.
that. He got another term
Oh,
without
bunch of
any
hypocrites.
fucking votes,
Sneaky
without people
cocksucker.
saying that if they wanted. And then a vote was put to the to anyone else having that many terms, and people voted no. So obviously they didn't want him for 3 terms. This guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I am an American, and I care very much about our country. I have children, and I care about them. Presumably they will someday give me grandchildren, and I care about them. I have a responsibility, just like you do, just like everybody does in this country, to try to address the key issues. You and I can't solve the problem, but we can demand that those elected officials who are or want to be in charge have a solution to the problem.
Charles in charge.
Good one, Chip.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
And then finally this.
This is not a theoretical thing. These are human lives. We have children sitting on the steps of their house, and a bullet whizzes by.
There was a 4-year-old I read in
Yes.
the Bronx.
An
killed,
illegal
yes.
bullet from
shot
an
with a
illegal
head.
gun.
People say, well, the time is not now to address this. We have to grieve. Well, it's been 18 months since Gabby Giffens. It's been 5 years
Gifford, you
since
dummy.
Virginia Tech. It's been a
Giffens.
dozen years since Columbine. What's the right time frame? Now's maybe exactly the time to do it. And I think the president very eloquently expressed the country's grief, and that is his job, and he did it very well, and people appreciated, I'm sure, him coming and trying to offer comfort. But that's only half the job. The president, no matter who the next president is, also has to have a solution to this problem. It is prevention of the next disaster that we have to focus on. There's nothing we can do about what happened in the past.
All right. Well, hey, do whatever you got to do to get illegal guns that are shooting children on their stoops in front of their house. Do what you got to do without infringing on other people's rights. How about that? Enforce your laws. Do it that way. They're already out there. There's plenty of laws against it. I think there's a law against murder, right?
Let me
Meat
see.
is murder.
Let's say hi to Robert in New Jersey. Robert?
Yeah, you're turning into the next Ted Nugent.
Do you prefer Robert or Bobbykins?
I like Bobbykins myself. That's what my mom calls me.
I know, he is like Nugent,
What do
right?
you got, Robert?
Well, every place needs to be like New Jersey, New York. It needs to be more difficult to
Yep.
acquire these things. I came from Pennsylvania. It was ridiculously easy.
Yep.
I walked in, walked out with an AR. It would take me only overnight for a background check to get a 5.7.
All right.
In New Jersey, it's much more difficult.
Ohio's very easy, too.
All right. So
Is that a good place to start at?
they did a background check on you? Yeah, see?
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
mean, that's what they have to do.
How about being denied the ability to buy a handgun illegally in the state of New Jersey or New York?
But on what basis would you?
Exactly. On a whim. How about on a whim that
lark.
somebody decides that they don't want you to have one?
Right.
Well, then I'll buy a samurai sword. You know.
All right.
You want to protect your family, but I don't necessarily need to have an FN-57.
Yeah, that's great.
Buy a shotgun.
Right.
Cool. So somebody comes into your house and you hit him with a samurai sword from fucking across the room.
Yeah.
Or a shotgun with a slug in it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. How about when you're out on the street? You're going to tote that shotgun around with you?
Hey, you know, and on that, if anybody was in that theater in Aurora, they wouldn't have been able to get a shot at that guy. He's covered head to toe in body armor. There's smoke, tear gas.
Hypothetical. I'm not going to get into hypothetical situations there, but let me tell you something. And I've said this before. The worst possible scenario is one gunman in a closed theater shooting at unarmed people in a pile against the doorway. Something tells me if somebody else had a gun in there, it could only be better than one guy rattling off round after round into masses of unarmed people. Even though he was covered head to toe, and I don't like getting into hypotheticals, like I said, but if a bullet were to hit him, he's not going to keep shooting at the crowd. He's going to get it's going to get his attention. Perhaps he would. Perhaps he would run out the door. Perhaps he could get a fucking lucky shot to his face. I don't know. But the thing is, what happened was the worst possible scenario. An unarmed mass of people and one guy with a gun shooting at them.
Yeah, where's the cops, right? But
Right.
you can strike anywhere. You know, you got. I just went by a horrible accident on New York. I mean, you were fluffy pillows around all the cars. Lightning strikes.
Yeah.
Lightning strikes.
You're gonna have problems. You got to absorb it. You got to move on.
Yeah. All right, my friend.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I said, for real, I said thank you.
Robert's ornery.
He didn't like the way that went.
You got a different fucking opinion on the show. I said thank you. I meant it.
That whole lady driving into a lake.
Jesus.
Dummy.
All right, there goes Robert.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm sure people out there agreed with your point on it. Jeez. What happened?
This whole broad drove into a river.
I love it. She hit the gas pedal, goes into the river.
The gas instead of the brake.
Well, I guess we're over the movie theater shooting, huh?
Yeah.
Fox News has moved on to give her a break.
Give her a break, get it?
Goes into the river.
The second you hit
think
a
she
gas
lives by the
pedal-
river to begin with? I say good morning, good night to the river. Remember those commercials?
God, yes.
What happened? She hit the gas instead of the brake?
Yeah, once you do
happens.
that, it's just time to take the keys
That
away.
happens.
From the old codger.
Why was she so close to the water?
I know. She
She lives close to the river.
She panicked.
Any more of these calls? We got a lot of them. Or we can take a break.
Yeah, we'll take another call, I guess. Why not?
I own a gun for my job. New Jersey laws are just as bad as New York. See, we've done that
Yeah,
one.
we
So
know
that's
that.
why
Okay.
Sam Connor needs to help us out and give a little more detail. See, that would be a waste of time if we took that phone call.
Well, why would he?
I like Connor.
Why would he put the same call up twice?
Look, I want Connor to have a few victories today. He got a coffee victory. He's going to have a victory on the phones.
I just don't know why he would put the same call up twice.
He's going to learn. He's
Same
learning.
information. Why would?
I know what you're doing. I ain't going there today.
I just don't know why.
I live in
Weird.
Texas. I want to talk legal process of getting a gun. I think we all know it's pretty easy down there, right? I think the other guy said that, so we've done that one
Yeah,
too.
well, it's probably, he probably wants to say something like that guy was saying you could just buy a gun, but there's a legal process to doing it, and then I think there's
All right.
a way around it, which
So he's
isn't
challenging that
quite
other caller,
legal.
probably?
Maybe.
Paul, you're challenging the other Texas caller. That's all we need to know.
No, I'm not challenging that. I was just saying that I was calling in that I have a few illegal firearms that I actually went through the legal process to get them done. And we do that, you know, to send off to the BATS
Right.
and to get the stamps done for all these weapons.
Uh-huh.
So no matter what you do is the government's always going to have a regulation and a thorough background check before they issue any of these weapons.
Yeah.
Right.
See, even in that
Says
case.
you.
There you go.
Says you.
Sam, Justin in Texas, buying ammo in bulk is cheaper. We already
It's just
we already
cheaper,
said
sure.
that one. So that's wasting a phone line right
Yeah.
there. So tell Connor he can hang up on that guy.
Nicely. Yeah.
Where he's learning. Jim in Alabama. What's up? Alabama, Mo.
Hey, you know, first off, the first gun that the guy used in the theater was a shotgun with 00 buck in it. Mm-hmm. That's just a hunting rifle, but...
Is that true, Ant?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would he go with that gun first? Just to scare the shit out of people and get them scattering?
That killed people.
No, I understand.
The
but
shotgun, yeah. Yeah.
Scattershot.
I guess he just figured he'd go in there with a shotgun first. Yeah. Terrible.
But listening to this windbag, Bloomberg, is the exact reason people stockpile. The government is now talking about trying to come up with expirable ammo, so that even if you do buy it, it just goes bad. So why not stockpile on the good stuff?
Wow.
You think we love our guns in America because we just don't trust our government in the end?
It's pretty much
or each other.
Or each other.
Yeah.
You think?
So I'm not worried about the government just coming in with guns at this point, but I am worried about other citizens.
All right there, Jim. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just do my job.
Yeah, right.
Any more of these, Ann? We could carry guns to school with a permit. Is Ann in favor of the stop and frisk policy?
Yes, I am.
I think we all
Why?
are. I think
Is
we
there
all
a problem
are.
with
I don't
that?
give a fuck about hurting anyone's feelings.
If a cop asked me, it's like, hey, sir, I want
Get
to
out of that schoolyard. I want to frisk you.
If he just wanted to frisk me I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. And he'd be like, hey, whoa, what you got there? And I'd tell him right away. No, that would suck if he starts frisking him. He's like, oh, shit, what do you got there?
Just say,
you should be
grab it and
defiant.
find out.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be defiant.
Let's hear your big Second Amendment speech to the police officer. It's my right, pig.
As he's fucking
it's none of your
raping
business.
ass raping me with his gun.
As he's fucking Billy clubbing you.
I think we did it for now. I mean, this issue's pretty strong.
Yeah,
days.
it's going to be volleyed back and forth for a while, and then it'll just go away again.
I guess there was a fight at
fight.
Dark Knight Rises in Pittsburgh, and everyone just panicked.
Yeah,
everyone panicked, ran out of the place. Just they thought it was a shooting.
Panic.
And then another place, somebody went out of the emergency exit at a theater.
That was on purpose.
People freaked out.
They're doing that on purpose. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then the cops evacuated everybody from the theater, and they got their money back.
And what about the one in Maine?
What happened there?
Is it true that some guy who was on his way, he had intentions of bringing something to a theater?
A Maine lobster showed up, and they were like, what's he pinching everybody's tootsies or something?
Chipper.
The good one, right?
Oh, fucking classic.
Double claws.
See?
Did they arrest that guy in Maine? Man brought gun to Dark Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why?
What happened?
He wanted to bring a fucking gun into the theater.
Oh, in case?
Well, you know.
I don't know. Is it in case, or was he intending on just fucking using it? The details are a bit sketchy on this.
He had an arsenal of weapons and press clippings about the Colorado massacre found in his car.
Oh, boy.
He was stopped by the Maine State Police after speeding 112 miles per hour in his Ford Mustang. He told police he was on his way to Derry, New Hampshire, where he planned to shoot a former employer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's good.
Let me see him.
Jesus.
Is he a legal owner? Is he a legal owner or not?
I don't know what the rules are.
It's like a loaded gun.
Maine's a weird state.
Maine.
They do their own shit up there.
What did he, wow, 112. He was in a hurry to shoot somebody.
Somebody needed to get shot.
Oh, Jesus.
Why would you tell them you're going to shoot someone?
I'm just going to shoot someone. Can I go? Can I go now?
Yeah, I answered your question. Okay, maybe we'll squeeze in some Penn State shit before Brad Thor, the New York Times selling author.
Yes.
Brad.
But now
just reach into the register, Brad.